The blocks are set. The crowd is locked in. 6 of the fastest women in America are about to run the race of their lives, and only one of them gets to stand at the top. Brittany Brown, McKenzie Long, Anavia Battle, Aletta Lewis-Smith, Jasmine Montgomery, Twanisha Terrell. All-American field, 1 track, 0 room for error. Look at these faces. Nobody came here to finish second. The women's 200-meter final is moments away, and when that gun fires, everything changes. Do not look away. McKenzie Long of the USA in lane 8, Anavia Battle in lane 7, Aletta Lewis-Smith in lane 6, Brittany Brown in lane 4, Jasmine Montgomery in lane 5, and Twanisha Terrell in lane 3. 6 American women, 1 race. The outside lanes give you a softer arc through the bend, and that matters. You can carry more speed into the final straight, and that's where this race gets decided. Brittany Brown in lane 4 has built her reputation on a devastating final 50 meters, and this crowd is right behind her. McKenzie Long in lane 8 has the widest path through the curve and the kind of top-end speed that makes her dangerous from the first stride. Anavia Battle in lane 7 is right there with her off the line. Aletta Lewis-Smith in lane 6 and Jasmine Montgomery in lane 5 are dialed in. And Twanisha Terrell on the inside in lane 3 wants to be aggressive early and put pressure on the whole field from the jump. The stadium is buzzing. Every athlete is locked into her block. The crowd's on its feet, the energy is at a fever pitch, and we are seconds from the gun. They're off. Long and Battle explode out front. Brown a step back, calm and controlled. Into the bend now, and Brown is starting to move. Battle is pushing hard, but Brown opens up down the straight, and she is gone. Brittany Brown wins, 21:89. A brand new American record. She did it again. Brittany Brown, 21.89 American record. Let that number sink in. Sub 22 in the 200 is the benchmark every sprinter in the world chases, and she just ran it tonight. Earlier, she ran sub 11 in the 100, and now sub 22 in the 200. That's a historic double in one evening. The scoreboard is up. The fans are going absolutely wild, and Brown is soaking every second of this in. She set the Icon Stadium record tonight, taking down a mark held by one of the all-time greats. Anavia Battle pushed her hard and deserves real credit for that, and Brown answered every time. 3 titles at this meet now for Brittany Brown. Watch this in slow motion. Off the gun, Brown's reaction is measured. She doesn't panic, doesn't overreach. Long and Battle jump quickest, but Brown stays compact through those first strides, holding her form. Knowing exactly what's ahead. Into the bend now. Watch how she leans into the curve, how she drives her knees, every movement controlled. She's not chasing anyone. She's running her own race. Here's the moment, 50 meters out. Watch Battle push wide trying to hold position, and then Brown just opens it up. Stride length extends, arms pumping, and the gap opens fast. Nobody in this field can answer that gear. Across the line at 21.89. And you can see it right there in her face, the exact moment she knows. That's what a complete 200 meters looks like. Sub 22. That's the number. In the women's 200 meters, it carries the same weight that the 4-minute mile carried in middle distance running for decades. It's the barrier that separates a very good sprinter from an all-time performance. Brittany Brown ran 21.89 tonight, and she did it on the back end of a sprint double, having already gone sub 11 in the 100 earlier in the evening. That context is everything. You don't produce a number like that on tired legs without something genuinely rare happening. The race was effectively decided before the home straight began. Long and Battle came out of their blocks fastest, and that made tactical sense given their positions. Lanes 7 and 8 sit on the outside of the stagger, which means both women carry a shallower arc through the bend. They get more of a straight line feel through the curve, and that translates into early speed for athletes who know how to use it. Brown, drawn in lane 4, had a tighter curve to run. She came off her blocks a step behind the leaders, and she let it happen. She didn't chase. She stayed compact, stayed patient, and trusted what she knows about her own race. That patience is the thing that separates her from almost everyone else in this event right now. At roughly the 100-meter mark, Brown was still not in front. Battle was pushing the pace. Long was running clean in lane 8, and Brown was tracking them, waiting. The moment the straight opened up, she shifted. That transition, from the curve onto the home straight, is where 200-meter races are actually won or lost, and Brown's execution of it is worth examining carefully. She didn't tighten up under pressure. Her shoulders stayed loose, her stride lengthened rather than shortened, and she maintained her drive phase deep into the straight, well past the point where most sprinters have already peaked and are simply trying to hold form. The result was acceleration when everyone else was decelerating. Battle tried to match her. Nobody could. By the time Brown crossed the line, she had pulled clear of a field that had no answer for what she was doing. The winning margin tells the story numerically, in a way that words can struggle to match. McKenzie Long ran 22.39. That's a serious time. Anavia Battle ran 22.42. On most evenings at most meets, either of those performances wins the race. Tonight, they finished half a second back. In a 200-meter final, half a second is not a close contest. It's a different tier of performance entirely. Battle deserves genuine credit for her role in the race. She pushed the early pace, stayed aggressive through the bend, and made Brown work for every meter before the straight. That kind of pressure matters, because it tests whether a runner can execute late in a race that's already been run at speed. Brown passed that test without visible strain. Long in lane 8 ran efficiently and finished strongly, but her angle on Brown through the stagger meant she never had a real chance to put direct pressure on her in the phase where it would have counted. Alita Lewis-Smith ran 22.58 in lane 6, Jasmine Montgomery 22.61 in lane 5, and Twanisha Terrell 22.76 in lane 3. All 6 women finished within a second of each other. This was not a weak final. The depth was genuine, and Brown still won by half a second. That's the part that should register. Historically, 21.89 places Brown in very select company in American sprinting. The women's 200-meter American record has been one of the more enduring marks in U.S. track and field, and to break it in what was essentially a domestic invitational meet rather than at a World Championships or Olympics says something about the level Brown is operating at right now. She's not saving herself for the big stage. She's running like this whenever she lines up. The world record in the event belongs to Florence Griffith Joyner, who ran 21.34 in Seoul in 1988. That mark has stood for nearly 4 decades, and the gap between it and the best modern performances has been the defining story of the women's 200 for a generation of sprinters. Brown at 21.89 is in the conversation with the fastest American women who ever ran the event, and the sprint double she completed tonight, sub-11 and sub-22 on the same evening, adds a dimension that very few athletes in history have managed at that level. It's a combination that points toward genuine all-around speed, not specialization. Brown isn't just a 200-meter runner who dabbles in the 100. She's competing seriously at both, and she's doing it at the top of the performance charts in both. The sub-22 barrier has always carried particular weight in this event because of what it demands from an athlete physically. The 200 meters requires explosive starting speed, the ability to carry that speed through a curved section of track without losing mechanical efficiency, and then the endurance and nerve to sustain top velocity over the final straight when the body is screaming at you to tighten up. Getting under 22 seconds means executing all 3 of those phases at an extremely high level simultaneously. Brown's 21.89 wasn't a survival of the barrier. She didn't scrape under it. She ran through it with authority, and that's the part that will stay with anyone who watches this race carefully. What happens next is the question that now frames everything. Brown has 3 titles at this meet, a sprint double on one evening, and an American record on the books. She is clearly at the peak of her form, and the timing relative to the major championship calendar ahead is significant. The women who will face her internationally have their own credentials and their own records, and a 21.89 from any athlete demands a serious response from every other competitor in the event. The field she beat tonight was a strong American field, and the margins she posted against it suggest she's ready for whatever comes next. She's not building towards something at this point. She's the standard against which every other American 200-meter runner now measures herself. The record on the books is 21.89. Someone will have to run faster than that to take it from her.